Folks, it is that time again. The Make the Great Experience podcast, your host, the success doctor, Dr. Steve Green. I hope you had a great week, great month, great minute, whatever it has been since you were last listening to this podcast. We got a simple goal. We want to help you on your journey to success. Sometimes it's just me pontificating, but today we have a guest. A guest is going to help you level up, going to tell their success stories, give you some tips. In fact, a couple tips. I've read the tips. I got an insider spoiler alert. It's a really good tip. And he's got a lot of other stuff to share. So let me introduce my guest today. His name is Brent Holtman. Brent's company is called the Kairos Profit Coach. How about that? Huh? I like that. Kind of cool name, Kairos. So let me tell you a little bit about him, and then we'll meet him directly. Brent Holtman, Kairos Profit Coach. Business owners hire Brent to create a six-figure increase in their revenue with proven no-cost, low-cost strategies. He understands that business owners face the challenges of working too many hours and the frustration of having lower profits than they feel they should have. Brent's clients discover how to increase their revenue and profit and gain time freedom to have the life they dream of having. Sounds pretty good, huh? So, welcome, Brent. How are you? All the way from Colorado, the Rocky Mountain State. Is that what it's called? I think.
Yep, we're the Mile High. Denver's the Mile High city in the Rocky Mountain State. So,
Rocky Mountain State.
Steve,
I
good to
think
be here.
Colorado. You know what? This is probably totally provincial and has nothing to do with the Kairos profit thing, but just indulge me for a second, everybody. When I think of Colorado, you know what I think of? I'm from the
Could be
East
a lot
Coast.
of things.
I think of John Denver. How stupid is that?
Rocky Mountain High.
Rocky Mountain High, whatever, Colorado. Born, if those of you who were born in the 90s or 2000s or whatever, you probably have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Poor guy ended up dying. He flew an airplane into a mountain. Sad story. Annie's song. I forget a couple other hits. Anyway, Brent, sorry to go out on that tangent. How are you? Tell us about yourself. Tell us how you're doing. Tell us how excited you are to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Very excited to be here. Having talked to you before, I was really anticipating getting to plug into your energy again and uh, have a chance to have a little conversation and hopefully share some things that could be beneficial to some of those business owners out there. So I'm doing well. There's no bad time to live in Colorado. We've had a really nice summer, so
Yeah.
lots of time outside enjoying uh, the lifestyle of being in the Rocky Mountain region. So
Well, you probably got a better view out your window than I do. I'll concede that. I got a lot of trees, no mountains or anything. So let's get right into business. So Kairos Profit Coach.
yeah.
You got the word profit in there, so I assume you're trying to help people make more money. I got a bold statement, six-figure increase in their income. How'd you get into this? What's your history? How long have you been doing this? How'd you get to this?
Well, actually, I've been into entrepreneurship and business and startup business opportunities and various things for years and years. I've actually done coaching interwoven with other business activities throughout my adult life, so it's been decades. And prior to COVID, my focus really was totally on helping businesses to develop teams and to develop leadership. But
Nice.
then COVID hit, and actually the first book I wrote, it's called Engage, How to Attract and Inspire High Performance Team.
Ooh.
And that's on Amazon. But with COVID, shut down. So we weren't investing in leadership or team building at that point. So I discovered this profit coach system, and it's 22 specific strategies. And
Hmm.
the way I like to describe it is it increases the throughput for a business because there's a lot of programs and a lot of coaching and things out there that'll focus on increasing leads or increasing this or decreasing that, and they don't look at the whole picture. And so what I do with my clients is we look at all of the things that they need in order to take that six figures or more of potential revenue out of their business and put it in their bank account.
Interesting. So I think it's fair to say the classic strategy is you get as many leads as you can. You sort of dump them at least figuratively into the top of your funnel. They
Yep.
get qualified, they get disqualified because they're not this or that. You end up with some fraction of them, and then you try to close them. So if you get 1,000 leads, maybe you get 20 sales or something like that, right? So that's not your model. Your model is much more precise. I suppose that's not your word, that's my word. Probably looks at many other things because typically when people do that sort of marketing, they're just getting everybody they can. They're casting a very broad net, right? Hey, who's interested in ice cream? Me. Oh, then you go, well, you only want people want strawberry or whatever. So is this a system you developed yourself, or is this something that you're aligned with a mentoring sort of company, or how did it come about?
Right. Yeah. You know, coaches need to be coached. So I am aligned with Pro Global,
Okay,
and
pro.
that's the source of the system. And so I work with using that system with small businesses. And I also coach other coaches that are using the same strategy set and system to deliver these kind of results for those business owners.
Nice.
And, Steve, I just have to smile because, one of the tips that I typically share with folks is, everybody is never the answer to the question, who's your potential client? And what you just described made me think of that because so often small business owners think, well, gosh, everybody needs what I've got. But you really need to have that real clarity on who's your ideal client,
Hmm.
what's the message you need to communicate to have them appreciate that you've got the solution to the problem they want to
So let's talk about that for a second. Because I think it's a common mistake, especially newer entrepreneurs or newer businesses make, because frankly, they're short on revenue, right?
get.
Typically, you come out of the gate, you probably got a good idea, you're enthusiastic, but you got to put some cash in the bank, or at the very least, you got to pay your bills, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at anybody that's willing to throw you a check or cash or crypto or however people are paying these days. So is one of the things that you do, because it's something I do in my business as well, my coaching is we try to define the ideal client, right? We try to define the client avatar, call it what you may.
Yeah.
Is that part of your 22 strategies or is that sort of a prerequisite?
No, it really is an element of it because we have what we call the position of market dominance, which is creating that unique selling proposition
Okay.
that speaks to that
There's
specific
another good
issue for that
buzzword
ideal client.
for us less experienced people. Say it again. Unique
Oh,
selling proposition. Let's define
yeah,
that for maybe our maybe less
sure.
experienced business or entrepreneur people.
Yeah, so rather than saying, oh, we're bonded and certified and trustworthy and true and
Hmm.
clean and honest and we've been in business forever and the
Don't,
kind
don't
of
forget,
stuff.
don't forget good looking.
You're right. And of course, more and more service industries put really good looking people on the shrink wrap on their pants. So to your point, but that's Me Too marketing. And that really can cost a lot of money. I know small business owners spending thousands of dollars a month on that sort of an approach. But you know what? If what you're saying is something your customer would say, well, I would hope so, say something else because you just need to touch that one thing that really
Yes.
gets their attention.
Is
And
there, could you give a specific example of this? I know exactly what you're saying, but I want to make sure that the less experienced listeners here are getting
sure,
a clear picture. So let's see if we can do this by an example, right?
okay,
So
um,
I don't want to put you on the spot. Let's say you're trying to sell, what do I got on my desk here? You're trying to sell a phone, right?
okay,
So the what doesn't work is we're the best cell phone store because we're more honest. We got a nicer showroom. We got a higher inventory. We got a nicer parking lot. We're a little easier to get to. We're on a highway. That's not what's getting it done, right? So what's something that in this example maybe they could do that would? Like what would be a differentiator, a
you
unique
bet.
proposition?
So shooting from the hip, let's assume that
Yeah,
this
no,
is
we're putting Brent on the spot here a little bit, but
a cell
I
phone
know he's going to deliver. Go
a,
ahead.
a cell phone store, retail, brick and mortar
Mhm.
location, right? And let's assume that they're in proximity to some senior living
Oh, okay.
facilities.
Very nice. Very nice.
And so they could say any number of things about the features and the wonderful deals and the contracts and all the stuff everybody else says, and the big players that are the national carriers throw out there in abundance in TV advertising. Or they could say, one of our ideal clients is somebody who is a senior who is frustrated by all of the bells, whistles, and stuff in the
Oh,
phone. So their position of market dominance, the statement they make to that particular client, that ideal senior, is um, come in, we will set you up with a phone that's simple to use, that you'll never be frustrated by, and you'll know exactly what's
nice.
already.
So now there's the assumption there's all the other stuff, but now you got a particular niche you're running with.
Yeah, and of course you can have multiples, but if
Oh,
I'm that business owner and I'm marketing to those seniors, I'm gonna have a very sharp edged, concise program of marketing outreach to those people.
right. And
And
in the
if I've got
same way,
something else, I'll have a different message for those
yeah,
other
like in the
groups.
same way, if you're marketing to a family, you might push security and safety because you don't
Yeah,
want the kids getting, exposed to whatever bad stuff's out there that they can get in trouble with on a phone.
exactly. Great example.
Love it, love it. So everybody's understand that. If you don't want to be part of the pack, even if you're the lead dog in a pack, you're still part of the pack, right? You want to be the trailblazer here. So you bring up an interesting question here. What you don't know will cost you 6 to 7 figures of revenue. I don't even want to give away the shop, but I'm very curious. What is that? I could use another 7 figures here too.
Sure. Typically for a 1 to 5 million revenue company, with the tools that I have, you can find at least $100,000 of annual recurring increased revenue.
Hmm,
And part of that is not trying to market the way national and global companies do, because you just don't have the wherewithal to advertise like Coca-Cola and Toyota.
sure.
And then extending on what we were just talking about with having that clear message and that really well-defined client. The other
Hmm.
piece of it is if you're throwing away thousands a month on ads that get little or no results, and you're ending up competing on price, that's a race to the bottom. And so often, small business owners hire marketing people that put stuff out there. So they're spending money there. Maybe they're spending, let's say, 2,500 a month. I see 5, 6,000 pretty typically, but so
Okay.
2,500 a month just on their social media monthly spend. Then on top of that, when they actually get connected with prospective customer, they're competing on price. So they're reducing their profit margin to get the business.
Hmm.
And then finally, the fact that they have no differentiation and they are just competing on price means that they're in that pack competing in that race to the bottom versus having a really clear idea of the number one problem of each individual ideal client and speaking to that, they could actually be charging more than their competition and be perceived as the value leader because those ideal clients will say, this 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 business, those people get me. And why would I talk to anybody else? Because they have the solution that I need.
So is the trick to doing that the clarity of your message, or is it the ability to educate your potential clients and prospects, or is it a little bit of everything? Because clearly this is part of what you do in your coaching regime,
Yes.
right?
And I love that question because we actually have a little formula we used for creating the message. It's
Mhm.
captivate, which is the headline that gets their attention.
I got it. Captivate.
Fascinate, which is the subheadline that that engages them
Okay.
to understand, okay, what is this business talking about? And then educate, which is whatever information your salespeople are sharing, what's in your messages, whatever else you're putting out that tells those ideal prospects why what you're offering is superior to what the competition is doing, and how what you're about differentiates your offering such that they really want to do business with you. And then finally, the fourth step of that is close, which isn't them buying something right now today, but the question of who am I going to use for whatever it is closed in that prospect's mind. So now, when they're ready to buy, that company is where they're going to go. Because, there's at any point only what 2 to 3% of buyers who are ready to buy right now.
Yeah, it's a
There's
follow-up
like,
is
97 to 99% who are somewhere along a buyer's journey,
yes.
not ready yet to buy. But this approach lets you get aligned with them. So when they are ready, you have that connection. So that vendor relationship is closed in.
Well, listen, this is the Make the Great Experience podcast. Dr. Steve Green, the Success Doctor. My guest today is Brent Holtman, Kairos profit coach, telling us about he's dropped a ton of value here. I'm telling you. Hopefully you're getting as much out of this as I am. Captivate, fascinate, educate. You got to get a better word for close. I got to think of one. Because it's got to end in 8. Everything's got to end in 8. Anyway, so but Brent is absolutely correct. If you're a new business or an experienced business and you think it's just as easy as saying, "Hey, I'm selling a phone, come and get it," you're gonna have some frustration, right? You have to. It's like anything else. You got to work on your craft, and part of working on your craft is working on your pitch, and part of working on your pitch is knowing what your clients want, right? If you're just saying, "Hey, if I'm selling hamburgers, and all my clients are vegetarians, I'm not going to get very far." So he says something like this: competing on price is a race to the bottom, right? Expand on that a little bit because I think the counter comment would be, well, I can't lose money. Like I have to at least charge a certain amount. I got to stay in business, right? So you can only undercut so much. But really, what you're talking about isn't even the number. It's if you, in the perception to your buyers, are the best value, they're less concerned about the price. But talk about how you position yourself that way. And I think we all appreciate why it's important, but maybe even expand on why you think it's so important.
Absolutely. And really, it begins with having clarity around who is that ideal client, and
Yes.
then determining what's the number one problem on that buyer's mind,
Hmm.
and what problem do they have that they can't get rid of, and they're really seeking a solution.
Absolutely. Good.
Then you communicate to them that educate piece, the fact that what you're about lines up completely with the solution that they're looking, so that they're not saying, well, everybody kind of looks and sounds the same. So what criteria can I use to decide who to buy from? When, as businesses, we give our customers no other choice, they will decide on price. But if we really help the prospective client understand the benefit of working with you over me or me over the other person, um, that clarity really fixes it into that buyer's mind that there's value here. And then that makes the actual price tag a secondary issue. You're going to need to stay within a competitive range, but you don't have to be the cheapest one in the neighborhood. And in fact, typically you don't want to be the cheapest one in the neighborhood.
Because it goes in the reverse. Think about it. Like if I'm going to buy something, do I want the cheapest product? I mean, maybe the cheapest product is cheaper because it's no good.
Right.
Obviously, with cars, I could spend 200 grand on a car. I could spend 20,000 on a car. I would expect the $200,000 car is nicer, but do I need that? But is
Right.
the $20,000 one a piece of junk? I don't know. But no, this is really good because it's so important because, and you didn't say this, but I'm going to read between the lines a little bit. One of the goals as a business owner, at least for me, is I don't want to have to keep getting new clients, right? I would like to get a client and work with them for weeks, months, years, decades. I'm old enough to have clients that long. I mean, you may not out there and make the Great Experience podcast listening land, but you will someday. And if you treat them right in the beginning and they understand the value, it maybe you're flexible in price in the beginning, but over the long haul, you're going to way more to make up for it. So can you talk about, is there a secret sauce on how to maintain long-term relationships with clients, especially if you're in a business where you're selling something that maybe they don't necessarily need multiple things of?
Yeah, and definitely there's a lot of different strategies that may come into play. If your business is very narrow in what you offer, you might consider other things that you could do that would align with that to actually give you a more enhanced offering that makes you of more benefit over a longer period for the client.
Mhm.
You might do strategic alliance, joint venture partnerships to where your business and another complementary business both bring something to the table. And that's unique versus your competition who doesn't have that other thing is another strategy. So really, I mean, there are a lot of different possibilities, but really one of the things that I think is really so fundamental is ask your customers, yeah, why do you do business with me? Why do you come back?
No,
What
so you get
else would you like to see
Mhm.
me provide? Because I think so often, as small business owners, we're afraid to ask. And we think that somehow if we ask our customers questions, they're going to think we don't know what we're doing. Versus the fact that you see surveys all the time where both employees and customers appreciate being asked, getting their input heard, especially when there's an action that comes out. So it
Hmm.
kind of shifts the approach of the business to where if I'm going to ask my customers what's the number one thing they'd like to see, I probably need to be prepared to come up with a way to do something for that to be an outcome for those folks.
But you have to assume if it's something, if they're going to volunteer that, it's something that they want. It's market research.
It is exactly.
You got to look at it as market research. You're getting information about not just your particular client, but your whole ideal client avatar profile that you can't really get otherwise, right?
It's absolutely true.
And then that's expensive and it's time consuming, right? So, you got to realize anytime you get a client and you can keep them, you're saving marketing revenue, you're saving ad spend, you're saving all that stuff. You got a success tip for the listeners out there?
Yeah, there's so many possibilities. Let's go with this one.
Okay.
And you can track with me here. Learning what you don't know that you don't know is not fun, but it can save your business. So there's so many things, and the strategies that I bring to business owners are typically things they would be doing if they knew about it, but they don't know about it. So they're not doing it. And having to open up to learning something new, to uh, adapting change, adopting change. Uh, that isn't any typically people's favorite thing, but
No.
failing to do it can cost you those 6, 7 figures of revenue.
What's an example? What's something that a lot of business owners may be, and I'm not saying they don't know because they're irresponsible or yeah, kind of cut corners. They don't have enough experience often, or they don't feel it's important. But what might be an example of this?
There's a lot of different places where it can show up. One, and this is an easy takeaway for the listeners, is if you have a small business and you don't reconcile your books and keep track of your profit and loss every month,
Hmm.
you might be having an expense creep situation where there could be thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars of, of potential revenue that's bleeding out because you've got a subscription you forgot to cancel, or a
Right.
SaaS service you're not using it. Uh, the list goes on. Uh,
Hmm.
Cost overruns from a particular employee. where it's like, wait a minute, this employee costs me 5 times as much as these 5 put together. So just by taking a look at your credit card statements, your bank statements, and your profit and loss statements, that on its own can drive potentially thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to the bottom line for you.
No, this is great advice. It's not just what you just said. This entire conversation has been really, really good. One thing I say, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, is if you don't want to master it, or at the very least address it, you're going to have to delegate it, right? Everybody knows this. 'Cause this is like my 180th episode. I don't like doing bookkeeping. It's funny you brought that up. I just don't. I'm good at math. I just don't like doing it. So early on, I got a little lazy. Maybe I was a little frugal. And I went to my accountant. It was a mess. I spent more money on my accountant than I would have spent hiring a bookkeeper and paying my accountant if I had good records. So after 1 or 2 years of doing that, I learned my lesson. I said to the accountant, "Can you recommend a bookkeeper?" Well, yeah, I got a really good one. I've never had an issue since then until she retired. I had to get another one, which then the first year I had to really pay attention to it and train them. But my point is, sometimes you got to spend to save. And sometimes when you don't spend, it costs you more than you would have saved. It's very, very important. And you're right, you don't want to be neurotic about it, but you got to watch your numbers. Brent, is there anything quickly we did not get into that you would like to share before we kind of wrap it up and get into our closing thing here?
Uh,
Don't think too hard.
yeah, I was just kind of thinking through the
I'll give you a little
stuff I
hint.
wanted to
I'll give
make
you a
sure
little
we
hint.
talked
Is
about.
there
I think we
anything, is there
covered it pretty
anything,
well.
no, I'll give you a little hint. Is there anything you'd like to give away to the audience?
Oh, well, yeah, thank you. Of course there is. First of all, people can go to Kairos Profit Coach and they can download my book.
And this will all be in the show notes. You don't have to
Yep. So
frantically
that's a
take notes.
free download.
Don't get into an accident if you're driving. Go ahead. So kairosprofitcoach.com, right?
Yep. And
Okay.
they'll need to scroll down and they can download the book as a free ebook download. And
Nice.
also below that, if they scroll to the bottom of that homepage, there will be samples of some workbook or videos rather of specific content that is strategies that are in our system. So they can look at, they can get the book, they can look at some videos of specific strategies, and that's all stuff they can just run with and use to their benefit in their businesses.
And I would presume on that same site would be a way to get a hold of you if you want. I mean, I'll have all this in the show notes.
Yeah, and absolutely, they can contact me right there on the website.
Beautiful. I want to thank Brent, Brent Holtman for coming on the Make the Great Experience podcast. Tremendous value, everybody. You might want to listen to this one like 7 times. This was really good. And I have a lot of guests. I think all my guests bring value, but this was just action packed. Brent, you want to close out by playing our favorite game. It's called the Fave Five.
Okay,
Don't get nervous. It's easy. I'm just
okay,
going to give you something. You tell me your favorite thing in that category, okay?
okay.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. He's wearing a red shirt today, too. Blue. For those of you in podcast audio land. Yeah, favorite food?
Um, Free or Mexican.
Mexican. Nice. Korean, Mexican. Got it. Okay. You got a favorite number? You got a lucky number?
7.
Ooh, that's my lucky number too. But when I'll tell you the backstory on 7 in a second. You got a favorite song?
Wow, there are so many.
I just want to always stalls people a little bit, but
Right now, Season of the Sticks is right up there for me.
okay, that's a good. Who's that? Who sings that?
Oh, I can't think of the guy's name.
It's a song called "Seasons in the Sun." I don't know if you remember that one. It was like a
Oh
seven
yeah, that was
one
yeah.
hit
Who was
wonder.
that?
Terry Jacks.
Yeah.
I am a reservoir of useless music trivia. You got a favorite place? I mean, you live in like a resort area, kind of, but you got a favorite place like to vacation or like your happy spot?
Really, any mountain stream in the Rockies
Hey,
for a hike or for a camp out or whatever. Uh, yeah,
it's like a Coors Light commercial.
Yeah, exactly. Any course like commercial stream, I'm a happy guy.
There you go. All right, here's the last one. This is the tough one. Ready? Your favorite podcast host.
Oh, that's easy. It's Dr. Steve.
You know, it's incredible. Nobody's ever gotten that question wrong. All right, my man. I'll tell you why. Seven. No, why seven is my lucky number. Because
Yeah,
I
why is it?
was growing up, I don't know why. I couldn't, I obviously I could spell my name, but apparently I messed up. So whenever I wrote Steven, it looked like seven.
Ah,
So my first or second grade teacher, I don't know what grade you learn how to write cursive, right? I don't even think they teach cursive
they
anymore.
don't do it anymore, I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we first started to learn cursive, the way I was writing it, you couldn't see the T. And my teacher, like to Chas says, if you don't learn it correctly, we're just going to call you seven. And I was like, I kind of like that. Like that's kind of a
Okay.
cool name. And then flash forward like 30 years later, there was a whole Seinfeld episode where they wanted to name George, wanted to name his kid Seven. It was like, it was me. Took in my thing.
Oh,
Anyway,
fun.
so Brent, thank you very much. I really hope people look, you're going to have some great info here. Reach out, get Brent's book, hook up with him, get some info. Because this, I'm telling you, and you know, I'm real big. You know, my triangle success people, you all know it. Product, client, right? We're talking about the same stuff here over and over. System and mentoring. The right mentoring might cost you a little bit, might even cost you a lot, but it's going to save you multiples of that down the road. I'm telling you, you're gonna have to trust me on that. Don't learn it the hard way. Don't try to teach yourself everything. Learn from people who know more than you, have more experience than you. All right, we're gonna close it out. The end of another episode of the Make the Great Experience podcast. It's been a really good one. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did experiencing it live here in our incredible studio. We will see you next time. I got a bunch of guests lined up over the next few weeks. I got a few solo podcasts I'm gonna drop out there as well. Hope everybody's enjoying this. Last thing, if you liked what you heard today, please share it. Not because I'm trying to build up my subscribers, that's always nice, but because really my goal is that people get this information, high quality information, which I hope what we're laying down here is invaluable. But it doesn't do anybody any good if they're not exposed to it. So if you like this, please share, tell your friends, tell your business associates, even tell your enemies. They'll thank you for it. Maybe to create more love in our world. Brent, you got anything to say to close this out? Take us home here.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah, like you said, um, take action. You know, invite your friends, check things out, jump in there. Because the one sure thing in life is if you do nothing, the outcome is nothing.
That's it. See y'all next time. Thank you.